Hi, this is Blake Graham, Triple Diamond with Youngevity, and I'm here today with Brenda Wright, who is the co-host of the Ancient Legacy Essential Oils Conference Call, a weekly conference call, and is actually the traveling oils expert for Youngevity. How are you today, Brenda?
I'm doing great, Blake. How are you?
Great, thank you. Now, Brenda,
The first one is the lavender. People that have used lavender can smell the difference because our lavender has a much more warm, inviting scent to it. It is pleasant to the smell all of the time. Sometimes lavender can be caustic, and people will actually have their eyes water if it's the wrong grade or a lower grade of lavender. But you can smell the lavender and tell the difference.
So what is it that lavender does?
Lavender is the divine mother. She instantly starts regenerating tissue.
And when you talk about having it in the room, what do you mean? I hear a lot about essential oil dispensers. Is that what you're talking about?
A diffuser is a way to get the oils into the room. A good thing is it does put it out into the room. You don't want to diffuse any oils for longer than 15 minutes every 2 hours because you don't need a lot of it in the room, and it stays in the room. But it does put that scent and that protection in the room. And at my home, I have my diffuser so that it blows towards the air intake. Tea tree is a medicine chest in a bottle. One of the components in tea tree is called terpenol 4, and we have a very high standard for ours. It has to be a minimum of 36% and up. Most companies stop at 36. That's their high end.
What's the average?
About 14.
So we're talking nearly 3 times the average.
3 times the average. And that makes it pure enough to be able to put it in your mouth. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. So the first one is peppermint. And our peppermint is such a high quality that it's about 4 to 5 times stronger than any other peppermint we've ever seen or heard of. It is so powerful and so pure, 1 drop will do you, literally. It will also work in clearing the throat. Put 1 drop in 8 ounces of water and sip it. It'll clear up coughing, clear up indigestion. It can be done internally because of the purity, again.
I've heard Dr. Wallach mention putting 1 or 2 drops in. Well, I know we use the CM cream a lot for people with achy joints and sore muscles. Is there an oil that would go really well with the CM cream in that?
Yes, it's called Trauma. And Trauma is just exactly what it stands for. It is a blend, and it has peppermint in it. It has helichrysum, which is the master healer. It has lavender. It has a lot of really good healing oils, but you add that Trauma to the CM cream, and you've got everybody being your best friend in seconds.
Well, another one I know that we actually see a lot of people consuming is the lemon oil.
Ah, but it's in a carrier called water.
Okay.
So you've got a carrier with it. And lemon is an amazing cleanser. All your cleansers in the, that you buy in the grocery store and everything, there's a lemon scent to it. And that's because lemon is such an amazing cleanser. By putting a drop of it in your water, you've got it antiviral, antibacterial, anti-germicidal, and it's going to help clean the liver.
Now, since we're speaking about cleansing, you have another favorite product here that's one of the top 10 from the company that you recommend that everybody get for a variety of uses, and that's the Deep Cleanser.
The Deep Cleanser is another blend, and it is a deep cleanser exactly like it says. The best thing about Deep Cleanser is it loves mold. It absolutely fights mold. And it also is really great in protection, so it cleans and protects at the same time. But you're wanting to do it as...
So in the dryer, we'd use the Deep Cleanser or the sweet oil on a washcloth.
Yeah, the orange.
I'm sorry, the sweet orange essential oil, right? It's not just putting an orange in there.
No, you can try it, but it might be a little bit messy.
Yeah, and we do that on a washcloth because the oils are so strong that we want to make sure that they're not eating away at any of the fabric from our clothes. Is that right?
Exactly. Sweet orange has the benefit also of taking away the static in clothing, so it works very well.
Is that another one you can drop in your water?
You can, but our orange is a lot stronger than a lot of others. Grapefruit is another one you can drop in the water. But if I'm going to do orange, I'm going to do it like an orange tea. And I would put that in honey as a carrier and do it more as a tea than I would. But I would personally do lemon before I would do the orange.
Right. So in the water we have lemon, then grapefruit, possibly orange in a tea, and a peppermint tea.
Yes, peppermint tea is...
Now, since we were talking about laundry, in addition to the Deep Cleanser, there's another essential oil that we often use in the laundry, and that is the Eucalyptus globulus.
Yes. We have 3 eucalyptus in our line. The Eucalyptus globulus is, again, another cleanser. If you're talking about the frequency of oils, it is one of the lowest frequency oils.
What does that mean, frequency?
Frequency is the energy that it has, the energy ratings. You know, everything, the whole world runs on a frequency. You have a low frequency sounds, high frequency.
Now let's talk about a couple of terms that we've used here. You talk about toxic, and I know a lot of people, when they hear the word toxic, they think harmful, right? And I think it might help to define that for some of the people listening to this. When you talk about an oil being toxic, that means...
That means that it is not for internal use, or unless it has a carrier, it could be harmful to the liver, or even the kidneys, or something like that.
So it's something that the body would have to detox if you
Yes.
took it internally. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about oils for kids, I know in the Ancient Legacy line, there's actually a number of oils or blends that they specially designed for children.
They are some of my favorite. I mean, I'm just like a big kid at heart. They're my favorite. I love them. One of the best is the To Be Well. This is an amazing oil that can go on a newborn, or you know, up into an old born, if you want to put it that way. But you can use it on all of them. But To Be Well is the one that actually. The cinnamon oil is one of the 3 spices. You have cinnamon, the clove bud, and the thyme thymol. These 3 together will fight some of the deepest, most wicked infections that a body can have, including parasites. There was a gentleman that we used those 3 oils on that had a disease that was literally eating his skin away. I mean, he had, ugly, ugly sores all over his body, and even on the bottom of his feet, but his wife was able to rub it on his feet, 1 drop of each. And the adult version of that is called First Defense. You can mist the To Be Well. If they don't want to rub it, mist it around them. You know, anything to get that in there.
So the To Be Well is a gentler version, and the First Defense is a stronger version.
By far.
Right, and I've seen people use the First Defense for a lot of different things. Are we talking mostly colds and flus and viruses, or are there other things that they use the First Defense for?
That's the main thing. It is your first defense. And, you know, when we were talking about frequency, the flu, even the H1N1 and whatever they've got this year, ginger is your anti-nausea, if you will, your anti-motion. So it's not just motion sickness from traveling in the car. It's even the morning sickness, which is a motion sickness. You know, we know that essential fatty acids help with this a lot, but the ginger oil, even just smelling it, I've had people put it on the back of their hand and rub their other hand on top of it, or on their wrist, or just in a cotton ball, and all they have to do is smell it. A person with morning sickness, if they...
Now, you mentioned snoring there, and I know that some people suffer from snoring, and it's not always the snorer.
Exactly. Yes, it could be somebody that's sharing the room with them or something like that. Marjoram is an amazing oil in that it relaxes the large muscles. So the way to remember, you know, large muscle, marjoram, MM. But when people are snoring, it's a muscle. So again, with the bath salts, the unscented bath.
Great. Now, since we're talking about relaxing, I know another thing that's very common is people have breathing problems, you know, whether you're congested or something else. And there's a special oil blend that we have to help with breathing.
Breath of Life. Even with asthma. And this one with EFAs is amazing how well they work together. I have a son who had asthma, and once we started the nutrition, that helped. But every once in a while, he cleans houses, and he has to have something additional from all the dust. And he has a mister of the Breath of Life.
Let's talk for just a minute now about safety of the oils, because I know that safety can be a big issue when you're dealing with some of these oils that are stronger.
Yes. The first thing, of course, is always keep your eyes closed. You know, if you're misting when I put oils in the skin enhancer and put it on my face, don't get near your eyes. Don't get near the corner of your eye. You know, we have some that help with wrinkles. That's fine. Don't get near the corner of your eye so that you have oils getting in your eye. It will burn. Oil and water do not mix. And another one is internally. Unless we really specifically tell you or suggest it to you, or you've been to a workshop where you...
One example of that, to be careful in how you use it, would be the oregano. You talked about hot oils. Is that one of those that's a real hot oil?
That is the absolute hottest. If it's pure, and ours is a pure oregano, it burns. It flat out burns, but it also fights fungus. As a toe fungus or a skin fungus, this is an amazing oil.
Do you use a carrier with it, or does it go on neat if you have the fungus?
If you have a toe fungus, it goes on neat. But again, be careful rubbing it around. Have it only on the fungus part.
Okay.
And then...
other things for safety, I know we recommend a lot, is the education of the oils. And there's a few tools that have been put together to help people learn more about the oils. What are some of those tools that you personally use and would recommend somebody that's interested in learning more about the oils use?
The first thing that I use is the still room book. It's called Recipes from the Still Room, and it has recipes, literally, blends, and those are safe. They've been tried and they're true. And so a lot of recipes for kids, for home, and a lot of things I've mentioned.
Now, we've talked about so far carriers that we've used, and you've mentioned the grapeseed blending oil, the jojoba blending oil, and those are both products that are in the Ancient Legacy line. Is in addition to the Envision line of skin products, and that's the CM cream and the Envision Skin Enhancer.
Yes. And those are the two, and then the bath salts. We have those.
Right.
So these two, the grapeseed, which also helps with allergies, by the way, and then jojoba, which is more natural to the skin, these are the safest of the blending oils. And then, of course, this bergamot is, you know, people are in this high-stressed world. There's a lot of depression going along. And right now with the recession, everybody's depressed. Bergamot is like nature's Prozac. And so putting it on, you know, on your tea bag or whatever, or even with lemon, it's an extremely good antidepressant oil.
Is that one that you use internally, like in a tea?
In a tea.
How about using that in a diffuser? Does that help?
It's a little bit caustic to the eyes, but...
How about cedarwood?
Cedarwood is, people just think, oh, well, you know, moth repellent. Well, it's also an ant repellent. But it also restores hair. It stimulates hair growth.
How does it do that?
It's just the properties of the oil as you rub it into your hair and then wait a few minutes and then shampoo it, or put it directly in the shampoo and let the shampoo sit on your head.
So you can rub it in neat, or you can put a few drops in the shampoo or conditioner?
Nope, you want it in the shampoo.
In the shampoo.
Because, because...
But there are other eucalyptus ones. What would we use those for?
Eucalyptus globulus is your cleanser, and good for that. Eucalyptus radiata, it's ER. If you've got somebody who's like in the desert and they're hiking, you need an ER, Eucalyptus radiata. Have a jar of water with about 12, 15 drops of Eucalyptus radiata and a cloth, or have it ready, a cloth ready, you know, a bandana that you've done. If you're getting heat stroke, sunstroke, or something, soak the cloth.
Okay.
Eucalyptus citriodora, that's your lemon eucalyptus, which is your bug repellent, your mosquito repellent.
So we use the cedar.
Geranium works for your flies. You've seen the window ledges in France and everything with all the geraniums?
Right.
They have no screens on their windows and no flies in their house. Flies do not like geranium. So you can mix the citriodora, Eucalyptus citriodora, and the rose geranium together in a mister and mist that around things on your screen, on you, and you don't have mosquitoes or flies.
I see. So those two mix together,
very well together
in a mister, and you just mist around there.
Yeah.
How often, if you're trying to keep things out?
A lot of people that do a lot of exercise and running and everything, they need to have birch. Birch is for the long bones. It is another tree oil. But rubbing that neat, or rubbing that with CM cream if they've done some running, or anything that will spread it, you know, the grapeseed, anything to spread it around from the knees to the ankles, or from the hip to the you know, for the legs. Strengthen the bones, but also take the stress and relieve the stress from the bones.
Okay, so while they're taking the Mighty 90...
Another one that I really like is To Be at Peace, and that just pretty much says it all.
Now, you use this for children quite a bit.
Well, and
some of the bigger children.
Some of us that don't go to sleep at night because our mind won't be quiet. And I like lavender, but sometimes I like To Be at Peace. Now, a caution with To Be at Peace is it has a blue oil in it called tansy, which is blue, and it will stain white things. So there's several ways to use it. You can put it on the bottom of the feet and rub it in, 10, 15 minutes before bed. And there's one other one that I like that I haven't used a lot, but when I needed it, and that's called the GI Purify. This is another blend.
This is one that I think people have done on their belly button.
Well, the belly button, but it's also the whole abdomen.
Okay.
This is the one that if you've got upset stomach, you've got gastrointestinal concerns, and you can't wait for the enzymes or something to get it gone, and the peppermint is just, not touching it, you want the GI Purify.
It's stronger than the peppermint?
It has a blend.
One of the things to end with, and unless there's some other oils you wanted to mention.
Oh, I love them all. I mean, that's a 2-day course.
Yeah, well, and that's what I wanted to end with, actually, is the course. When people want to find out more information, and they go to your classes that you hold, it's actually a lot more information than we were able to cover in this recording.
Oh, yes.
And they actually get to kind of get hands-on experience, or maybe with the oils, feet-on experience might be a better word for it, but where they could actually experience the oils and come up with their own blends and have their own oils and misters that they can take out of there, right?
They do. They leave with at least 7 different things that they have made with the essential oils. And one of them is a blend, and they have to make the blend for them. And people get so worried about a blend. But as we talk about the oils, we talk about the emotions of them. And if you state a purpose, if you're wanting to de-stress, and you state your purpose, the oils that want to be in your blend just absolutely become very obvious to you, and how many drops. And so people make their own blend, and they make misters, 3 different sizes. So they have that. They get to use the skin enhancer. They get to use a cream. They have bath salts there. They can use these things and take it home. And I have called and checked on a few people to make sure that they have used them, not put them on the shelf and said, oh, look how pretty. Or, gee, this smells nice, but I forgot what I was going to use it for. They have to have it written down. And so they leave with that. But we do go over all of the oils and why that oil has a benefit. And all the safety precautions. And so we go through all of it. But yeah.
That's a 2-day course if you're going to cover everything.
Everything.
Yeah, and you do sometimes you'll have shorter courses, and then sometimes even advanced courses.
Because there's no way you can absorb everything in the first class. I didn't. It took me several years to get it all. And I still am researching and learning different things.
Well, hopefully that's a purpose or a function of this recording, that people can listen to it over and over again.
Yeah.
And pick up things maybe the second or third time going through.
You do. You pick up new things every time. And the workshops, we have a lot of fun. I've tried to be serious. I've really tried to be serious. It has not worked yet. And we do hands-on. And so foot rubs are a favorite thing that we do.
So if there's somebody listening to this that wants to put a seminar together, the best advice is for them to contact their upline or the company, and so they can get a hold of you to try to schedule an event out there.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, Brenda, we want to thank you for your time, and thank you for all you do to help share these wonderful... Now, you mentioned snoring there, and I know that some people suffer from snoring, and it's not always the snorer.
Exactly. Yes, it could be somebody that's sharing the room with them or something like that. Marjoram is an amazing oil in that it relaxes the large muscles. So the way to remember, large muscle, marjoram, MM. But when people are snoring, it's a muscle. So again, with the bath salts, the unscented bath salts in a jar, you put about a half a cup of the bath salts and about 20 drops of the marjoram. Put the lid on, shake it around. And then at night, just before bed, about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, take the lid off and put it by the side of the bed of the person who snores.
For just 20 or 30 minutes?
20 to 30 minutes.
You don't want to leave it there all night?
No.